Good, happy Sunday afternoon, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to this edition of Politics with Riley King. Let's begin. New Hampshire State House Bicentennial Week celebration. Today is opening day at the New Hampshire State House. New Hampshire State House Bicentennial Week. New Hampshire State House will be turning 200 years old. That's how long the State House has been in operation. Opening day begins at 1 p.m., happening right now at the State House opening ceremony. And then from 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and 4 o'clock, the 1819 session reenactments. And then from 1:30 to 4:30, tours of the New Hampshire State House. There are a bunch of celebration events all week long happening at the New Hampshire State House. If you want to see the complete schedule, we will share a link with you on the Riley King Network Facebook page. Fight brews over bill to create online criminal record database. Bill aimed at letting businesses more easily check backgrounds. As partisan fight is blowing up at the State House over a bill that was intended to streamline criminal record checks for businesses. New Hampshire hospitals and nursing homes are in a job market crunch. Officials said they're having trouble hiring nurses because the state's criminal record check process takes too long. House Bill 637 was intended to fix that. But Democrats amended the bill Thursday night to restrict open online access to the criminal conviction registry. Republicans said Democrats are putting up unnecessary barriers to information that is already public in the court system. Senate Republicans are also raising concerns that the newly amended bill will apply to more than just the new criminal records database and restrict public access to the existing sex offender registry. In a statement to News 9, the Department of Safety sounded a note of caution. 10 years after marriage equality approved in New Hampshire, issue has faded from public debate. Activists say lessons learned from fight for same-sex marriage still relevant. Next week will mark the 10-year anniversary of same-sex marriage becoming legal in New Hampshire. And over the past decade, the once continuous issue has now largely faded from public debate. When same-sex marriage passed in the New Hampshire House and Senate in early June 2009, it was the culmination of a lifelong struggle for gay rights activists. Governor John Lynch signed the bill into law, saying he had involved on the issue after campaigning on the commonly held Democrat position of the time that marriage was between a man and woman. Baxley was one of those leading the charge of marriage equality. With 10 years of perspective, Baxley said the long grind of the policy struggle stay with her. There was and still is opposition to same-sex marriage. John Richa of the American Society for Protection in Tradition, Family and Property warned in 2009 a conspiracy if marriage equality was adopted. But as time has passed, Baxley said those arguments haven't held up. While same-sex marriage is no longer the hot-button issue it was a decade ago, activists said lessons from their grassroots effort remain as relevant as ever. Former top NHGOP staffer Chewing joins prospective U.S. Senate candidate Mesmer team. One of 3 potential Republican candidates for the U.S. Senate has made a key hiring as he explores a possible challenge to incumbent Democrat Jeanne Shaheen. Biden to make stops in Berlin and Concord on Tuesday. Marianne Williamson also headed to New Hampshire Tuesday and Wednesday. Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden has 2 scheduled stops in New Hampshire when he returns on Tuesday, his campaign said. Biden's campaign said he will head north to speak to voters at the Berlin City Auditorium at 168 Main Street at 12 p.m. He will then appear in Concord beginning at 5:30 p.m. at the headquarters of the International Brotherhood of Electric Workers, Local 490, located at 48 Airport Road, Concord, New Hampshire. Author and lecturer Marianne Williamson will return to New Hampshire to campaign on Tuesday and Wednesday. Death penalty officially abolished in New Hampshire. Earlier this past week, New Hampshire Senate vote comes week after House voted to override veto. The death penalty was repealed Thursday in New Hampshire after the state Senate overrode the governor's veto to repeal the bill. There's no more death penalty in New Hampshire. Trump denies he called Meghan Markle nasty ahead of UK trip. Hours ahead of an official visit to the United Kingdom, President Donald Trump pushed back against media reports that he called Meghan Markle, now the Duchess of Sussex, nasty in a recent interview with British newspaper The Sun. In a tweet, Trump wrote, "I never called Meghan Markle nasty," claiming the quote was made up by fake news media. And that is it for this edition of Politics with Riley King. I hope you all have a wonderful and great rest of your Sunday afternoon, everyone. And I'll see you back here next time for another edition of Politics with Riley King. And see you back here later on with more broadcasts. Goodbye, everyone.